Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Fantasy Four. Today, we will be going over the second half of the Week 6 matchups. If you didn't catch the first half, we went over Tampa Bay, Philly, Miami, Jacksonville, Rams, Giants, Texans, Colts, Chiefs, Washington football team, Vikings, Panthers, Chargers, and the Ravens on yesterday's show. So if you want any, if you're looking for insights as to that game, check out our last video that has everything that you need. Today, we'll be going over the second half of the games, and we will get right into it. And if you haven't already, make sure to sign up for the subscriber giveaway, the Fantasy 4 launch giveaway. All you got to do is super simple. You go to www.fantasy4.com, scroll down, put in your email, subscribe, verify your email, and you're entered. And you are in the running to win an autographed Justin Herbert, Big Herbert, MVP Herbert, an autographed Herbert jersey, so you can hang up, add to your memorabilia. If you want it as an investment, don't really care. It's going to somebody. But it's going to subscribers. So don't forget to do that. And without further ado, Stenzo, let's get into the matchups.
All right, we got two more games left in the 1 o'clock slate this upcoming Sunday. I'm going to start with the 3-2 Cincinnati Bengals in Detroit, taking on the 0-5 Detroit Lions. The Lions are not favored. That would be the Bengals by -3.5, and the over/under is at 47.5. I took the Bengals last week. Bengals they're sneaky. They're a decent team. As Jamar Chase was just absolutely like lighting up that game, I was like texting in multiple like group chats, just like, this is one of the best receivers I've ever seen. Like, and I also want to mention that Mo was talking shit about Jamar Chase on this very same podcast last week. So
said in one of these group chats was the one that we are in, and I said I will get on next week's show and I will publicly apologize when we get to the Bengals game. I slandered Jamar Chase. Jamar, if you're listening to this, I'm sorry.
We know you listen to this, Jamar.
Jador Jamar. That's French.
Him and Urban, listen.
Yeah,
that's him and Urban's wife.
Oh my God.
Sorry, Shelly.
So
what's up?
Talking, positives about the Bengals, but I'm going to take the Lions here. Campbell was crying in the post game last week. I feel bad for the Lions. They've been so close to so many. They need to get their first win eventually. I think this might be the week. I'm concerned for Burrow just because Burrow takes vicious hits. And I was surprised he came back into the game after he got like helicoptered.
Yeah.
They need to like clean up their offensive line like badly. Whoa.
My bad.
Whoa.
All good. All good.
Uh-oh.
But yeah, I mean, Joe Burrow, I think he's also good for like a pick every game. I don't know. And Jared Goff isn't that bad. He got to get a win eventually. I'll take the Lions to the points here.
Last week, I was actually the only one on the show to take the Lions to cover. I think the spread was +8.5. So that was a pretty good differential. Not the way that I envisioned it. I didn't think it would be that low scoring of a game because I also took the over in that game. But whatever gets the job done. That being said, I like the Bengals. They're for real. They were some kicking disaster away from beating the Packers, which were very, very solid, very, very solid team all around. I like the Bengals. I like their weapons. I like Burrow. I like Mixon being healthier than he was last week. I like all of those things combined. And with that being said, I would be very, very comfortable here taking Cincinnati -3.5. It almost feels like a lock for me.
Is that a Mystic Mo mortal lock?
Mystic Mo mortal lock. Listen, you don't like. This isn't High School Musical. right? It's your
It
head
is
coach.
not.
Your head coach doesn't get to come out and cry, and then the very next week you come out and you beat the 3-2 Cincinnati Bengals. Like it should be 4-1 Cincinnati Bengals. Like this is not a Disney movie. It's not a Disney movie. Give me the Bengals minus 3.5. Jamar Chase, I'm sorry once again. I love you, and Godspeed. Bengals minus 3.5.
Godspeed. I'm gonna take Detroit 3.5, mostly because we get the hook here, and even if they lose by a heartbreaking field goal at the end, we're a winner.
Love it. Love it.
So, and I don't trust Evan McPherson. He's thinking the field goal is good when the ball is hitting the flag on the up.
I don't think I've ever seen that before, by the way.
I don't think I've ever seen that before. Also, why did he think that went in? It wasn't like, how would that work? It hit the outside of the post. It hit the flag on the outside. I don't know.
I feel like
I don't know where you guys were when watching that game, but like I was in a packed bar, and that was like one of the most electric like packed bar games to watch, just because of the reactions and all the missed field goals. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was. I think there were 5 in the last fourth quarter in overtime. There were 5 missed field goals. I don't know. That's awful. So I'll take Detroit here. They got to show for Dan Campbell. He can't cry at the press conference, and then go out and lay an egg the next week.
No, you can't.
You can't have that happen. Also, if they lose and he doesn't cry, does that mean he cared less about this game than he did the other game? I think he just has to continue to cry until they win a game.
Fuck it.
Which would be electric.
This additional play line's money line. I'm all in. I'm sprinkling the money line here.
That would be electric.
Oh, you guys are lying.
No.
I'm putting it in right now. Detroit money line. I'm going to sprinkle that in along with the spread.
Yeah, Lions.
You guys really trust Jared Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown?
Yes. I actually wanted to draft Amon-Ra, but then Dibs was like, "Oh, that's a cool name." So he bid more than me. So typical.
I think he took him because he thought he was equanimous, but
yeah.
So.
I
do think he's St. Brown is, I think, a good pickup on waivers if he's available.
Because I think Cephas is out, and I think Hawkinson didn't practice that. He might be questionable to play this week. I don't know, but I don't care if they're trotting us out there. I'm taking Detroit. Fuck it, Dan Campbell all the way.
Now that I can go, first of all, Dan Campbell crying, easily top 3 heartbreaking thing in my life I've ever seen. That was just I personally cried after that. Really got to me. Biting kneecaps to crying. I was also watching the Bengals game with a shit ton of Bengals fans then, so that was absolutely electric.
Awesome stuff.
I think you said it. Joe Burrow with what sounds like a blowjob injury with a throat contusion. I think he's okay. I think he practiced in full today.
Nice.
Jamar Chase might be better than primetime Randy Moss. I would take.
He's definitely better than Jerry Rice. Definitely better than Jerry Rice.
I would take a victory lap on that because I got him for a single $1 after someone ripped.
I don't think he's better than Kadarius Toney.
After someone ripped Mike Williams for $1 away from me, so I really had 2 slam dunks there. Fuck me.
Hate to see it.
You want to take a bet on who finishes higher by the end of the season, Jamar Chase or Kadarius Toney?
I absolutely do.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
We'll talk offline. But I don't have a play here. Also Hawkinson's gonna he was like he missed practice last Wednesday as well. He'll play, but that doesn't help. I'm too scared to go against Dan Campbell crying, but I also think the Bengals are just so much better than the Lions. Kind of ridiculous. So I don't have a play.
Gotta risk it to get the biscuit seed.
All right, moving on. Last 1 o'clock game, we got the Green Bay Packers in Chicago taking on the Bears. Packers are favored by -4.5. The over/under is at 44.5. I'm going to take the Packers here. The Packers have won 19 of their past 22 versus Chicago, and they've covered in 17 of those wins. The Bears' offensive line and just Justin Fields, I'm concerned for them. The Packers might hurt Justin Fields. I don't want to see that happen. I'm sorry. Sorry to Fields in advance.
He has a family.
Yeah. No, it's funny. Like the bottom of the screen, I had like my notes open, and I thought like Zeb like let out like a full shrug because I was talking shit about Fields, which is why I laughed. But yeah, so I'm not gonna think too hard about it. I'm just gonna take the Packers.
Yeah, no, straightforward here. I like Green Bay over Chicago. I have not been. I saw some statistic that since Justin Fields had taken over the starting job, he has 4 less rushing yards than Tom Brady, which is inexcusable. For anyone that's watched episodes 1, 2, or 3, a recurring theme on this show is that I think Matt Nagy is a Neanderthal, a war criminal,
A real bold take, man.
a crime against humanity, a stain on the reputation of the NFL. It's a sad day when Gruden is forced out of the league, but Matt Nagy remains.
Oh my God.
Yikes.
I'm just saying it right now. Find a way to get rid of Nagy. That being said, fire up the Packers. Easy money. Devontae Adams is ridiculous. I mean, absolutely ridiculous.
Pay the man.
Like, just it's insane. There's no other way to describe it.
He's gonna follow Rodgers wherever he goes, I think.
There's no doubt.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. You can't leave. The rapport that you have, it's like Gronk Brady-esque, except so much more explosive. I think it's just it's incredible. So give me the Packers here -3.5.
As Skip Bayless tweeted out on Sunday last week, what would Rodgers be without Devontae Adams? So I agree. Pay the man. Having my fantasy team goes for 200 and a tutty. He's just really good. I think he's the best receiver in the league. I'm glad, Stens, you had those stats because I feel like every time I watch this game, the Packers win every time. So
the stats don't lie, man.
Stats don't lie. Numbers don't lie. So I'm just gonna take Packers. Rodgers might be the new mayor of Chicago. He owns them. Yeah, take it, set it, forget it. Green Bay.
Can't find it in my heart to go against the future Hoffer and my favorite player in the NFL, Justin Fields. If I was to put money, I'm definitely leaning Green Bay because, like, I don't even remember the number you said, but I know Rodgers is also, like, as a division favorite, he covers like 70% of the time in Chicago.
Won 19 of the past 22 and covered 17.
It's fucking right. He cares.
He's good.
He knows great teams cover, and he makes sure everyone knows that. So if I had to lean one way, it's definitely towards Green Bay covering, but I'm not going to do Justin like that.
Let me just say, because I think it is worth talking about, Allen Robinson.
Stinks.
Ethan, Big E. You drafted him, and like so many people that drafted him, you got shafted. What are your thoughts on Allen Robinson rest of season? Like, he's not starting for you now. Like, at what point does he ever, like, I can't imagine that you're ever putting him in.
Well, as a Penn State legend, Allen Robinson, I have to pay the man respects. I don't know what happened to him. Even when Dalton was out there, he wasn't getting targets. Now with Fields looks awful out there as well. I don't know what's going on, and it sucks too because
prediction here. I think Robinson's going to get traded.
I think
they're going to look to get some value for him.
It stinks because they franchised him, and he was looking for a big deal, and you don't want to go to the free agent market the way that he's been playing. The way you want to be playing.
That's the thing. He'll ask for a trade, go to a good team.
Yeah. You want to be like Mike Williams going into a contract year. Not like Allen Robinson.
Nope.
I hope he's the most underrated receiver in the league. He's just stuck every year with trash quarterbacks. Like in Jacksonville,
he shows that he had the choice of anywhere, and he went to Chicago. He's the most overrated receiver in the league. Everyone says he's the most underrated receiver. And at some point, he gets up to the echelon where, wow, he doesn't deserve to be there. He's overrated as shit, and he's an idiot for choosing Chicago.
He is not overrated.
He knew he'd have this excuse in Chicago when he doesn't produce that the quarterback is shit.
he played
I don't know.
well
I
with
doubt
Trubisky.
that a professional football player is burning the years of his prime, just knowingly, like
He's
just
not-
purposely
he's not
Why go to
self-sabotaging.
Chicago? You can't, like, at some point you can't blame the quarterback. It was his decision. And like you see like fucking Brandon Cook falling out with neck God over there. Like it's
He-
not like no,
was-
he's
but he
not
balled
that
out.
good. If you're a good receiver, you demand targets. It's not like running backs where like offensive
He-
line is shit, you can only do so much.
No, he balled out with Mitch Trubisky. I don't know what you're talking about. He balled out with Trubisky, and he just happens to have Justin Fields, who has 12 pass attempts a game.
Yeah, Allen Robinson, I would rank him second on the list of have had to play with the shittiest quarterbacks imaginable, right behind DeAndre Hopkins, who I loved his tweet when I think he was he broke some record. He was like the youngest receiver to do something, and he tweeted out, "I'd like to thank all 20 of my quarterbacks because of how many the number of different quarterbacks he's had to play
Yeah.
with." But A-Rob, I think is underrated. 100%. I think
Yeah.
he should definitely get traded, and if he doesn't, I think that I can't imagine the whole season goes by and he doesn't pick it up. I would take the if you're like 4-1 or 5-0, and you could get A-Rob, I would go get A-Rob.
I wouldn't, as long as Fields is sucking dick.
I would go get him. I mean, you could get him for relatively low value, and the ceiling is what we know A-Rob to be. So I mean, he's played with quarterbacks worse than Justin Fields before.
Once he gets traded, then trade for him.
At that point,
That's my
maybe it'll be too late.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else in that game?
Green Bay.
All right. Good stuff. Moving on. Great game. The undefeated Cardinals are going to be in Cleveland taking on the Browns. The Browns are favored by a field goal. The over-under is at 49.5. Last week, I did not, and honestly, the past 2 weeks, I have not been giving the Browns their due. Tough game last week. We mentioned it in the last podcast. That pass interference call was horrendous. Props to Baker. Baker, I know he's had like that torn like shoulder labrum or something like that. And he's been playing through it. It hasn't really seemed like it's affected him that much. Obviously, on paper, the Cardinals are 5-0, but I think the Browns are just a better team here. I'm going to take the Browns. Simple and plain.
I disagree. I don't think that the Browns are the better team. The Browns defense is solid, right? The first 4 weeks, their defense looked very, very good. They're 3-2, but really the 2 games that they lost against the Kansas City Chiefs that they held for a lot of that game, and then the Chargers that they were holding for a good amount until the end of that game, where I think the Chargers scored 25 points in the fourth quarter or something like that. Like it was just some crazy number. So I think that the Cardinals offense is ridiculous. They've stalled the past couple weeks, but I think when they're clicking on all cylinders, they could do some damage. I like Kyler Murray more than I like Baker Mayfield. Cleveland will do what they've always done. And I think they'll just continue running it down people's throats. This is no different. And I like Arizona here. I like Arizona plus 2.5. I trust Kyler. I trust his weapons. I trust around DeAndre Hopkins. Give me Arizona.
Yeah, I'm also leaning Arizona. The Chandler Jones, I think he tested positive for COVID, scares me because he's their best pass rusher. But even with that, I'm going to take Arizona. I feel like I haven't seen, honestly, a lot of Arizona. I don't know why. I just can't remember any games. I've watched a lot of them, a lot of their plays. But they're 5-0 for a reason. I think they're getting disrespected. I feel like when people think of the best teams so far in the league, Arizona rarely comes up, even though they are undefeated. I think this is a game where they go in, earn the respect of the league, and show that they're a legit team in the NFC and can really challenge for Super Bowl potentially in the end. I think the way that Stefanski called the game last week really shows the lack of trust they have in Baker, and I think they don't really believe in him. So It's not a good thing when I think your quarterback is a better actor than he is a quarterback. So I'm gonna take the Cardinals here.
I'm in 100% agreement with Stens. I think the Browns are just straight up the better team. I honestly don't think Baker is the future for them, though. I don't think I've ever seen him lead a game-winning drive. Like, yeah, he got cucked out of that one. Like the interference against Mike Will was stupid, and he did put up 40-something points. But like, I've never seen him lead a game-winning drive. So that was just a note on Baker. I just don't think he's the future there. But I do think the Browns are just the better team. And something against the Cardinals, I think they're a good team. But the Browns are just really good. The public money versus the money percentage is huge in favor of the Browns. So with that signal, it's pretty easy to make that call. Browns -3.
They got
Also,
to trade Odell.
No, they don't. I also think that water needs to find its level here because, yeah, I'm just gonna skip that point. It's a dumb take.
They got to trade it.
Water has to find its level. The Cardinals have also, besides winning their first 5 games, they've covered in their past 5 games. One of these games they're not gonna cover, so I'm gonna take Browns. So
They're gonna regress to the mean.
all right,
They should trade Odell.
onwards. Skipping over that. We got the Dallas Cowboys,
They should trade it.
4-1. They're going to be in New England taking on the Patriots, who barely came away with the win against Davis Mills. The line is in favor of the Cowboys by -3.5. The over/under is at 51.5. I feel like the past couple of games I've been picking, it's been like, oh wow, that's too easy, and that probably means I'm going to lose. But I'm just going to not overthink this. I'm going to take the Cowboys. The media going into this game is going to be sucking Mac Jones' dick on how he's the best rookie quarterback and everything, but he is in a baby offense where he's making baby throws and he has his fucking training wheels on. And if he was in any other situation besides the Patriots, his stats would look a lot like Trevor Lawrence's and a lot like the other rookie quarterbacks in this class. I am not sold. And simple and plain, they cannot keep up with the Cowboys. They're not going to be able to keep up with them. So I'm taking the Cowboys.
In total agreement with you on the Mac Jones point. I think that it's impossible to call him any, like, you can't have a take on Mac Jones because he's just like super, super average. Like he's just like, he makes the super easy throws, not a lot of downfield targets, not a lot of downfield shots, plays super conservatively. And like, okay, I guess you got a pretty conservative, like pretty average quarterback, but I doubt that that's what you drafted for or what you hoped for when you got a Cam Newton replacement. Like if Cam Newton's in this lineup, right, and this is their record and this is how they've looked so far, Cam Newton gets crucified, right? That's my personal opinion. And just because it's Mac Jones, I think that he's getting a little bit of a buffer. I think that Dallas controls this game from start to finish. I think Dak, I saw some crazy statistic over the past 2 seasons in games where the 2 seasons that Dak has played, so not last season, obviously, in games where Dak has thrown less than 25 times, that they're 17-4 or something like that. So they're at their best when they're running the football. I think they'll be able to run the football at will against the Patriots. Patriots secondary is pretty good. I think Amari Cooper is going to have a relatively quiet game. I'm concerned about all the Cowboys wideouts personally for the reasons that I just stated, that I think that because their defense is better this year, they're not going to be throwing the ball as often as people thought that they were going to. That's really
yeah, they don't need to, and they're at their best when they're just pounding it with Zeke and Pollard, and that's a pretty good recipe.
Yeah, and then you have Michael Gallup coming back, and obviously Michael Gallup is a huge step below Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb, but it's still someone else in the offense. And I think Dalton Schultz is growing into one of Dak's favorite targets, like one of his safety nets. He's been getting more and more involved. All that being said, I like Dallas -4, and then I also like the under 51.5 for the reasons for the run game. Dallas controls the clock. I think game moves too fast for that to happen, and I don't think that New England can put up many points against Dallas, frankly.
Yeah, I'll take the Cowboys as well. Cowboys are 5-0 against the spread this season. I'll let it ride with that. I think Mac Jones has looked all right. I mean, he's looked the best of the rookie quarterbacks. Granted, he's playing with a much more talented team and a dummied down offensive system. But I think Dax looked good. Zeke's looked good. Pollard's looked good. The whole offense looked good. Offensive line is back to like what it was like 3 to 4 years ago when they were the best offensive line in football. That's the recipe to win in this league. Defense has looked outstanding. Micah Parsons has played really well. The whole line's played really well. Diggs, obviously, we've talked about, but I think this is kind of a cakewalk game for them. I think people are giving New England credit just because they're New England and Belichick's there. I think that team is not good. So just give me Dallas.
We do no sort of analysis here. It is going to be the easiest decision of the week for me to fade 3 of you and 80% of the public and go New England. So
Famous last words.
yeah, it's just easy. Fantasy wise, I'm so happy Zeke looks like an actual not out of shape walk. So that's nice.
Zeke's been a monster after week 1. He's been unstoppable.
He looks so good, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, after the last few years, that's great to see.
I'm glad he survived the pylon injury.
Yeah, oof.
I've never
Thoughts and
seen that
prayers.
before. The pylon fucked him up.
Yeah, that was something. And he's doing it with Pollard getting a lot of work too. Pollard looks good too, but I mean, yeah, they just like running the ball.
But Zeke is like fresher because they actually have a
Yeah, I
good
think-
running back there to take some of the pressure off him. He's never had a running back that
It's
good
like-
on his team.
His rookie year, he had like 300 carries. Like, you can only do that for so long unless you're Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
I think it's the smartest thing for them to do in their position too. They paid him a ton of money. It's in their best interest to preserve Zeke for as long as they can.
Oh,
And
especially a year like this, where
they're-
to be in the playoff chase. Like, all right, you could really pound him later on in
Yeah.
the season, but now early on, you can sit for a whole drive.
They're running.
Yeah,
it
you don't
down
want
people's
to
throats.
pound him you don't want to pound him too often, too early.
Yeah,
Don't want that to happen.
and they're running it down people's throats, and they're still second. They're second most in rushing yards in the league, and then second most in total yards of offense in the league. So they're just it's just so efficient, so effective. And then it's kind of like it's the Cleveland Browns, right? Except their defense is worse. The Cowboys' defense is worse, and it's a big major upgrade at quarterback. I think Dak, like if Dak's on the Cowboys, if Dak's on Cleveland, for example, it's
He is
like
on the
same.
Cowboys.
If Dak's on Cleveland, for example, it's like the same
Got
sort
him.
of situation.
They also
But,
have a much better talent at wide receiver.
That's true. That's true. But yeah,
Definitely hating
Absolutely.
everyone on the planet to take New England here. I also
bold
think
move.
the McCormick slander is a little much. It's not his fault that Belichick is treating him like he was at Bama, where you could just, throw a slant and then they'll yak it up the field.
That's kind of what he's doing, though. He's only throwing slants.
But that's not McCormick's fault. I don't think he's gonna be. I think he will be the worst of the 4-5 quarterbacks that were drafted in the first round.
No, he's solid. All I'm saying is like the media narrative around him is like, and look at his stats.
Yeah,
His stats are
that's
so
too
good.
much.
That's what I'm referring to.
He's just such a game manager, and that's what he's gonna be
Yeah.
for a career. And
There's nothing wrong with that, though.
with Belichick, that could work, but you also throwing to Jacoby Myers and Kendrick.
Yeah, be honest, Matt
Aguilar.
Castle 09 shit. It's okay.
Yeah, he
Okay.
reminds me of Jared Goff a little bit.
Jared Goff stinks. He's like in last in like every advanced metric that exists. I mean, it's
True, but I meant in terms of like he got the Rams to the Super Bowl. If you could build around him,
no.
Yeah, in all fairness, he was throwing to Quintez Cephas and Amon-Ra St. Brown. So
don't shit on those guys.
Hawk.
Quintez is dead. He's on IR at least.
all right, let's
All right, we got three more games here. I'm excited to talk about 2 or 3 of them. This is one of them. We got the Las Vegas Raiders
Gruden.
in Denver, and I want to talk Gruden here for a second. I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. What everything that Gruden said was unacceptable, but I did laugh for what he said about Goodell. That was kind of funny. I just want to
The
say that.
anti-football part.
The stuff he said about the gays, I mean, you can't be saying that. I do not accept that. But for what he said against Goodell specifically, it was kind of funny.
Yeah, no, of course. I just absolutely disgusting.
Maybe shouldn't
Also,
use the
Schefter
F word,
taking
but
strays.
What?
Schefter taking strays out here as well.
Schefter this morning was on like damage control, and he just tried to tweet through it, which I respect.
And did you see Ravel? Ravel was getting shafted as well with his of Schefter.
My God!
I'm like
Ravel. You see Ravel and what's his name?
Olbermann.
Keith Olbermann. Yeah.
Someone put a lick out on Gruden. Like that doesn't just happen. There's they're looking through 650,000 emails, and they just happen to come across the emails that John Gruden, who's not even subject to this investigation, says that kind of stuff, and then it leaks. Like I have a very hard time. They give him a monster deal, right? 10-year.
Good out.
Yeah, a monster deal. The quickest way to get out of it, and they're not looking good. Like after that game against the Bears, they looked awful.
Oh, they've been bad.
Right? They're like, it doesn't seem like they have direction. It seems like every single year under Gruden, it's been the same thing. They start off strong, lots of hope. They fizzle out, rinse, repeat. Is Derek Carr good? And you have that debate like 15 times throughout the season. Rinse, repeat. Like someone put a lick out on my man John Gruden.
But they had this for months.
The NFL and the whole NFL because there's more people coming out here.
And there's nothing else being released. There's nothing else being released except for those emails. But that makes me think like someone's shafting him. But that being said,
that's what's scary though, because like the NFL has all these emails that like if one person crosses the NFL, they're like, I got this email.
Yeah,
you're done.
Like Dan Snyder, for example. Like I can't imagine.
I hope he's out of here.
I can imagine that the owner of the Washington Redskins did not send a few suspect emails during the whole naming fiasco. Like that's well within the realm of possibilities here.
The Keith Olbermann tweet in response to Ravel was, "That's because you're not a real journalist, never have been, and that blank dazed, stupid check engine light look in your eyes is the full and total expression of your soul."
Yeah,
the man woke up and chose violence.
I hate Keith Olbermann. But that was.
Oh, I do too. But that was laugh out loud funny.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into the game itself.
And then additionally, Carl Nassib took a personal day today, so I kind of hope he comes back on Sunday and has like a 4-sack game.
Absolutely,
he should. Penn State legend Carl Nassib. Despite
for rooting for that, I'm gonna go with the same reasoning on why I took or I bet against the Jaguars and the urban shit was going on. It's a fiasco. I'm just going to take the Broncos. They're at home. I'm going to take a -3.5. I didn't say the totals or anything. So the Broncos are favored by -3.5 and the over-under is at 44.5. But I'll take the Broncos.
I like the Broncos too for the same reasons. I think that Derek Carr, it was very evident that Derek Carr and John Gruden were had a very good relationship, super tight. That's what I think so. I think that they had a pretty solid relationship. I think that I can't imagine that they respond well to this kind of thing because it's just so it's like John Gruden decided, woke up one day and said, how do I offend literally every single group of people in one email? And then decide
except the Jews.
That's true.
I was heard about that.
That's
what about us?
It offended every single group of people. So I think that
didn't Schefter call it a clean sweep or something like that?
Clean sweep during countdown.
Incredible
sweep. He's all sorts of peoples.
Yeah, no, it's
love it.
You can't
And ESPN was talking about it, and he was an employee at their company.
Yeah, during
that was bad.
It was bullshit.
Unbelievable.
That was bad.
And Schefter knowing that he was going to get called out for it too.
Yep.
Well, he's got emails in there as well.
And also shout to Keyshawn because the morning he was talking his shit the next morning. And I was so happy he got to talk his shit. So shout out to Keyshawn. That was awesome.
Give me Denver -3.5. There's no way that the Raiders are in any headspace to put up a fight here. And Denver's got a pretty solid defense. Teddy Bridgewater didn't look that good last week. Didn't really have a chance to practice. Was in concussion protocol. I think he does a little bit better this game. And I like Denver here -3.5.
I'm gonna take the Raiders. I think this will galvanize the team. It'll bring them closer together, like an us versus them mentality potentially. Maybe a little change of voice in the locker room with the new coach. Well, I guess he's an old coach, but now head coach.
He's a friend of Gruden.
Yeah, but he's like a football lifer. May I called him the best leader that he's ever been with, which is kind of odd to say, because then why wasn't he the coach anyway? I don't know, but. I will love for this offseason for the new coach that they will hire somebody. I believe will probably at some point have worse emails come out.
Lane Kiffin, bring it back.
Dabo Swinney.
Oh, okay.
Dabo Swinney will come back because they love them Clemson players and they love Clemson, Alabama. They drafted literally everybody from that bowl game, the championship game after that year. Dabo Swinney will be their next head coach.
I kind of love that.
More problematic probably, but yeah, he can't stand college athletes getting paid for some reason. Thinks it's against the Bible or whatnot. So I'll give me the Raiders here. Fuck you.
I'm not taking a side here. However, the fact that Mo said he thought Gruden and Carr had a good relationship.
That's what I'm saying.
That's far. That's way off base. I don't know where you're getting that. This
Hard Knocks.
No. It's just vibes, man.
They hate each other.
I don't think so.
No, I think Carr's going to play better now.
You think so?
They not have a good relationship. Carr, Gruden was always trying to replace him, and Gruden, that's kind of who he is. He just always looks for the next quarterback. That's what he's doing with Carr, despite Carr being what I think is like a very good quarterback. So, they didn't have a good relationship. You're on crack for that.
You're on crack.
We'll see. We'll see how he does rest of the season.
I'm gonna move past the Gruden stuff because that was about 10 minutes worth, and any little thing could get us canceled. So I'm just gonna move past that. Both these teams really kind of aren't interesting though. I love Tim Patrick. Always will.
Yes.
I'm very much looking forward to getting Jerry Jeudy back. He's next week or the week after. My wide receiver 2 has been on IR since the first half, where he had 80 yards in the half. Looking forward to that, but Tim Patrick's been filling in very well for that team, along with KJ Hamler, who
R.I.P.
State legend.
Sounds a legend.
Went down.
Jerry Judy's going to eat when he comes back.
I'm so very excited for him to come back. But yeah, so I don't have a side in this game. There really isn't that much fantasy relevancy in it either. So I don't know.
You're picking your spots this week, so you don't have a lot of plays.
I don't, and it's kind of upsetting. I'll probably add 1 or 2 more before the weekend, but I'm just like a lot of lines.
Understandable.
Fair.
So this is a good stay away game. Before we get to the next game, because Ethan brought up Dabo, the quote he's looking for was, "As far as paying players, professionalizing college athletics, that's where you lose me. I'll go do something else because there's enough entitlement in this world as it is."
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the man, how much money does he make a year? What's he get paid?
It's got to be over $5 million. I don't know.
Oh, it's probably closer to 8-9 million, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, and half the kids.
I hate that, man.
Yeah.
But the number one quote is, "It's so easy to say we have a race problem, but we got a sin problem."
Oh yeah,
that's a quote.
In 2019,
I bring that up like once a month just because
It would be a very Raiders thing to bring in the one person that could be potentially more problematic than John Gruden.
In 2019, Dabo signed a 10-year, $93 million contract extension.
All right, I was a little off.
Sheesh.
God
my
damn.
least favorite person in sports. It's not even close.
All right, let's get into the next.
Two more games here. I got one more that I'm really juiced up about. This is a Sunday night game. I am so juiced up about this. My man, Geno Smith. He'll be in Pittsburgh taking on the Steelers. Steelers are favored by 5. The over-under is 42.5.
Ugh.
As a Jets fan, I have a lot at stake here because for one, in the Jamal Adams trade, we have Seattle's first rounder this year. So I have every reason to root against Seattle. So we have a better first round pick this year. And also Jamal Adams is booty. He gets burned on every single play and he's like blaming other people on his team. And he's talking all this shit on Twitter and on the sidelines, but he is a middle linebacker playing safety. He is and Marcus May is better, even though he's been in trouble and he can't be on the field. Don't drink and drive, folks. But yeah, I mean, I have a lot at stake here, and like I have an kind of an uncalled for and unjustified love for the 7 guy, Geno Smith. I love Geno Smith so much, and I want to root for him, but it goes against me being a Jet fan because I want to have a better pick. And then I have a lot of Steelers in fantasy. I unfortunately had Big Ben as my QB2, and I have Deontay Johnson, who's actually going to finish again within the top 25. He's super consistent. So I'm going to take Seattle here. Don't love it, but I kind of just want to root for Geno. So I'll take Seattle +5.
You're out of your mind. Give me Pittsburgh -4.5 here. Seattle's defense is dog shit. Not good. Big Ben's hasn't looked good. Had a bounce back game last week, sort of. Had that one really nice pass to Deontay Johnson, so it was nice to see him throw it deep, and then targeted Deontay one more time, and then that was it. So that was kind of weird, but I think Najee Harris absolutely gashes them on the ground. He's my running back start of the week. I think that he's going to have
wow, that's a bold call.
I think he's going to have a solid day.
Sleeper.
These supposed to be like difficult calls.
Well, they're either difficult calls or like I'm saying like Najee Harris will be like the RB1 on the week.
Rock chalk.
Like the number 1 running back on the week.
Okay.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised like NBC didn't flex this game because it's like so ugly. But I kind of think this might be Big Ben's last game ever on Sunday night, so they're gonna have all this fucking pageantry for Big Ben, which makes me like the Seahawks even more. So
I think it's gonna be a good game, but
it's gonna be ugly, but in like in a good way. I think.
Yeah, and I as part of my fantasy football wheeling and dealing, I have put myself in it's a 2 quarterback league, or a 1 super flex and 1 quarterback. I have cornered myself into a QB 1-2 tandem of Taylor Heineke and Geno Smith, point guard. I think that he
7 God, 7 God. He's not Chris Paul.
7 God.
Don't give him that much credit.
7 God.
Fuck Chris Paul.
Sorry, Chris Paul. But that being said, I forgot what. Oh, I think Geno's gonna have a relatively safe floor. If you picked him up in a 2 QB league, I think he uses his legs. Pittsburgh, I think, is gonna blitz him like crazy, put him under pressure. I think there's gonna be a lot of scrambling outside the pocket. I could see him rushing for 60, 70 yards. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities here. But that being said, give me Pittsburgh -4.5.
I will take Pittsburgh as well. I can't root for Geno Smith after McAdoo Wackadoo put him in to replace Eli on and kill his start streak. Wasn't his fault, but shouldn't have been Geno Smith. I think
He should be the starting quarterback of the New York Giants today.
Yeah, absolutely. Fuck Mike Lennon. Yeah, I mean this game stinks. I'm just flat out stinks. Pittsburgh, I guess Ben Roethlisberger. I think they're a better team without Juju, mostly because now they don't have to worry about him tick-tocking on the field and doing shit like that. So give me Pittsburgh.
He stopped doing that, right? There's no way he was doing that this season.
I don't know. I don't have TikTok, and I certainly wouldn't follow him if I did. Yeah, give me Pittsburgh. A rematch of the Super Bowl.
I don't have a play here, but I'm going to use it as a platform to remind everyone that Mohammed rejected a trade. Didn't even listen, didn't even consider. Where I offered him Michael Pittman for the third string running back on the Seahawks. Hindsight, I'm very happy he didn't take it. I was in a desperate place. Naheem Hines scored 1.8. I still won, but it was a desperate place. Alex Collins stinks, and that's really all I want to say.
Wait till Brittle Bone Carson breaks his neck. Listen, man, I follow the facts. Week 1, it shows up. Listen, week 1, it shows up on the injury.
So like Andrew Cuomo talking about the vaccine.
Hold on. Week 1
this year.
Week
I'm
1,
not a
it shows
pervert.
up
I'm
on the
just
injury.
Italian.
It's a chronic condition. He's had it all.
And listen to me, Zebo. Just hear me out.
No one
Week
cares
1
about Alex Collins.
No, it's not. This is Chris Carson. This is Chris Carson.
Yeah, but the same side of the same coin. No one cares.
Can we hit the last game?
Yeah.
I can't believe you guys are gonna let me run through this real quick. Because
You already did
Zebo
this
is
before
so
on the
confident.
last
We already did on the
episode.
first podcast. Let's go.
Did we really?
Yes.
Chris Carson, not
Yeah,
Alex.
when we talked about the
Collins.
Colts game. We talked about the Colts game.
Yeah, we don't need to hit this again.
Yeah.
All
Look
right.
out for the article.
Monday night game. Yeah, you can talk your shit in the article. Go to the website. Monday night, we got the Bills, who might be the best team in the AFC. They laid the smackdown on the Chiefs, and they're going to be in Tennessee taking on the Titans. This is my lock of the week. I'm taking the Titans here. Lock of the week. This is a trap line, if I've ever seen one. Right now, it is 5.5 in favor of the Bills. The over-under is at 54. I just smell trap line all over this. The Titans' defense is horrendous. We saw that Zach Wilson lighted up against them a couple weeks ago. Their defense is probably just as bad, if not worse, than Kansas City's. So with that thinking, oh, yeah, Tannehill's been awful historically in primetime games, awful defense. Josh Allen's been electric in primetime. He's fucking white man can't jump, hurdle over dudes. I'm fading myself. I'm taking the Titans.
Man in the suit.
This is a lock. Give me the Titans.
Yeah. So the last 3 cruddy defenses that Josh Allen has faced, he has put up 37 fantasy points against Washington, 20 against Houston, but that's just because they were up by so much that he just didn't need to do anything anymore. And then recently, a 36.5 point performance against Kansas City. And for the rich and wealthy, the good fortune remains. Now they go up against the Tennessee Titans that had us saying that Zach Wilson looked like an NFL quarterback. This is the Buffalo Bills. This is as close. This is my Mystic Mo's second mortal lock of the week.
Mortal lock off.
Mortal lock off. I'll put Mystic Mo's name on the line here. There is no chance in their defense is too good. Right. The offense for the Titans has not clicked thus far. I think the Bills, right, you can't really stop Derrick Henry, but you could contain him, right? And that's like outside of that, like what have the Titans done well this season? A.J. Brown has disappeared, right? Julio is finally practicing, right? But he's like not going to be at 100%. You don't know what you have in them. They haven't looked good. And on the contrary, the Bills look phenomenal. They look like I think at this point they've solidified themselves as the favorites to win the Super Bowl at this point in time, right? It's always hard to bet against the Chiefs, but it's impossible to go against what they've done. I do want to touch on Stephon Diggs. He's been solid this year, but not as solid as you had hoped he would be, especially after last season. A lot of people are saying that he might be like a buy low candidate, like to have a bounce back. I don't think that's the case. I think that there are more weapons at Josh Allen's disposal. I think part of his natural progression as a quarterback is to limit his dependency on, just one receiver, right? Because he has it's not like the Rodgers, Devonta Adams connection, because that's all there is in Green Bay. There's never been a second guy. Here in this offense, you have Emmanuel Sanders, you have Cole Beasley, who just they constantly demand targets. Emmanuel Sanders been target heavily, and now you have Dawson Knox, who's emerging as another favorite target for Josh Allen. I don't think Stephon Diggs has a bounce back. I think that what you've seen so far this season is what you're going to get. I think he finishes as a low end wide receiver 1, maybe like wide receiver 12 to 14, right? Like really at the end there. I also like Zach Moss in this game. I think that the Bills will be able to move the ball with ease against the Titans. And I think that there will be goal line opportunities for Zach Moss, and I can see him easily scoring a couple touchdowns in this one. So I like him this week as well.
The Bills are an absolute wagon. I could see, Stens, what you're saying, that it's kind of like a trap. Maybe taking like Tennessee first half, maybe the play. But I think Buffalo is just all the confidence in the world coming after their game last week. Allen's looked great. He was struggling a little bit the first week or two. I don't know why that was, but he's certainly rolled back into form like he was at the end of last year. It's just nonstop Buffalo offense. Defense is improved from last year, which is good for them. And Tennessee has not looked good, but they'll probably still win the AFC South because the South is garbage. Bills wagon 5.5, lock it in.
I was actually going to bring up that exact point, Mo. Everyone on Reddit 3 times a day is saying, what do we think about Stephon Diggs? And I swear, like, the top 5 comments are like, he'll bounce back. Like, why are you doubting him? Like, I don't see it. I think, honestly, Manny is like, he's demanding more targets than Diggs. And people keep saying that, like, Diggs will demand more. I just don't, like you said, there's just too many weapons now, and Allen likes to spread it around. So I don't see him bouncing back, and all the Reddit threads are ridiculously stupid, as are 95% of any of them.
Except for the ones I post. You/Amidit's mommy.
To Sens's point, 95% of the time I would say it's a trap game. There is 80% of the bets on Buffalo, and that is a lot of the public. That is about 80% of the public.
Right.
But what I don't see often is when it's 80%, there's more money on that same exact team. And right now, 92% of the money is on Buffalo, which means all the stupid people and all the smart people are on Buffalo. And I don't think I've ever seen 91% of the money on a team, especially when the bet percentage is that high as well. So normally I'd say the trap game, but the wagon, as Ethan referred to it, definitely.
And what that stat alludes to is back in elementary school, I have this forever scarred in my head. My 2nd grade teacher called me an enigma. So I think this bet, based on that stat,
okay.
I'm an enigma. I'm taking it. Love it.
Very curious what you did to earn that.
The Bills, the Bills are just, they're not just beating people. They are beating the brakes off of them. They're crushing them. Outside of that, like that weird week 1 anomaly against Pittsburgh, like the Bills have been rinsing everybody, and that includes the Chiefs. So they had a couple weak games in there. Like, I get it. But they're also like, they beat Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs every single time Patrick Mahomes is on the television and Tony Romo is on commentary. The man nearly creams his pants, right? And it was Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills that took him down.
I like how Collinsworth always creams his pants about Mahomes, and then like he just changed the narrative and he creamed his pants over Josh Allen. Now Josh Allen is his guy, not Mahomes.
Oh yeah, today's segment was as I found out to be the daily Cowherd special. Rag on Zach Wilson, rag on Baker Mayfield. And then
he hates Baker.
I hate Cowherd, but I watch him all the time because I hate him so much. So I just have to yell at the TV when he's on.
And that's part of it. He's just like, he's such a smug little bitch.
Yeah.
Sorry, Colin.
Love your daughter.
All right. I think that that wraps it up for week 6. That's a good place to end.
I love Coward.
Colin, put me on your show. Let me get a feature. That was a joke, but not a good one. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we really got to end it.
Yeah, that just stunk. Maybe we'll cut that out.
Oh, brother.
But thank you guys so much tuning in. This is the second half of the week 6 episode. We'll be back next week. Don't forget, visit www.thefantasy4.com. Scroll down, enter your email, hit subscribe, and you'll be automatically entered. You'll have a chance to win a Justin Herbert autographed jersey. If you're a fan of Herbert, if you're a fan of the NFL and collecting memorabilia, or if you're looking for an investment. I mean, the Herb right now, the value, if he wins MVP, who knows? But that being said, that's all you got to do. Go to the website, subscribe, verify your email. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week. God bless, Godspeed, and good luck in week 6.
See ya.